Hey guys, so let's actually finish out all of our routes. Um, let's see. Alright, luckily we finished the routes for slash, and then we're gonna all we need now is all the corresponding routes for slash ID to get the specific polls. So the get is gonna be for a specific poll. Delete obviously is to delete the poll. And we're not actually going to do update with this. Instead, our update in quotations is going to be a post to vote on the poll. And actually, I want to slash user. It's only going to be one endpoint. Get slash user. I also want to show the user's polls. So handle dot users polls, and let's create that right now. Let's put it up here. So exports dot users polls async request response next try catch error dot status 400 next error. So the basic boilerplate. Okay, so in here I'm gonna destructure the ID from request.decoded and that'll get us a user waits db.user find by ID, and then we're also going to populate the polls equals here res.status of 200 dot json user dot polls. Alright, let's quickly test that route. This might give an error, so I'm going to comment it out for now. So start our server. And this route is going to be a get to API slash polls slash user plural. No, just singular. That's fine. Send. And there's all the, yeah, it's an array. So there's all of the polls created by this user with this token that we got from this one. So the user is Keldon. Everything looks right. If we make another poll with the same user, here at this route, there's a new poll. Do we get hash user, and we get both polls. Okay. Alright, one more get request to do, and that'll be to show the specific poll. Sending it off. I'll just put it here. Okay. Exports dot what do I call this? Get poll async request response next try catch error dot status equals 400 next error. Okay. So this ID is coming from the route parameter, which we could access with request.params and const poll equals await db dot poll dot find by ID, and let's populate the user. So user, and we want the username and the ID. And let's see, if the poll doesn't exist, let's throw an error. So throw new error, no poll found, and send it to the user, or send the response. So nothing too special. Let's find a poll. Let's use this ID. Not found. That's odd. Oh, I know what's wrong. I forgot to actually use the handler, so this is a get poll. Handle dot get poll. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. So that's a specific poll. Why is the user not pop? Oh, this one doesn't have a user. Okay, let's user. Let's use this one. Boop, boop. There we go. So it's populated with the user, with the ID and the username coming back. Okay. Let's actually populate all of these. So at the show all polls endpoint handler thing, we're gonna also do a populate. And if I didn't explain it well, populate is how we handle relationships in Mongo, or using Mongoose. Username, ID, and if we do a get all route, all the ones that have a user will be populated with there we go, with the ID and the username. So we populate the user fields with the fields of username and ID. Doing it the array method here, we could make sure that we don't send back the password, which for security reasons is something that you really should be aware of every time you do stuff like this. Okay, so let's see, what is next? Delete. Delete is easy, we can do delete. Exports dot delete poll async request response next try catch the error status equals 400 next error, and delete is pretty simple. You just get the ID from the request.params, and let's we do a wait to find that one. So find by ID, and oh, I forgot. We also need the ID of the user decoded. And there's going to be a problem here. There's two variables with the same name, ID. We could actually use the destructuring alias here. Something that I don't use all that often, but I try not to use because it does get a little confusing in code. So this one's gonna be the poll ID, and this one's gonna be the user ID. These are the right hand side is the variable's current name, and the left hand side is the variable that you're pulling from these objects. So this one is gonna be poll ID, and of course throw an error if there's no poll. Throw new error. No poll found. And also, let's see, poll.user is not equal to user ID. Then we just throw new error unauthorized access. And await, poll.remove, and res.status 200. What's 202? Why did I use 202? And we're just gonna send back the poll. Alright, let's go ahead and delete this poll. So the get works, and there's the users, and we're the correct user, so delete. I keep forgetting to add this. Alright, handle dot delete poll. Send the delete. Cannot destructure property ID of undefined or null. That's probably, wait. Yeah, that's probably this one. Request dot, oh, that's because we're not using the middleware. Okay. And there we go. Unauthorized access. That is strange. Huh. Oh. ToString. Okay, so what basically happened there is that we're trying to compare two different types. The user ID is going to be a string, but poll.user, before you populate it, is actually going to be an object ID, which is a native MongoDB type. So to do comparisons, we have to first convert it to a string. And once that is done, we can finally delete it. So we're sending back the poll. And if we do a get with the same exact poll, there should be an error thrown. No poll found. I really don't like this. I'll change that in a bit. Okay. So we are almost there. One last. Alright. Here is the hardest handler. Is the exports.vote. Async request response next. And we're going to put in a try catch like everything else. Error.status equals 400. Next error. And in this post dot votes. Okay. Alright, here we go. This is going to be a little confusing. So, of course, we're going to need the auth middleware to have access to the decoded property. So, like the delete, we're going to destructure both the params and the decoded ID, and then alias them with a different name. So, this is going to be the poll ID, and that comes from params. And this is going to be the user ID, and that comes from decoded. Alright. And the body is going to come, or it's going to hold the answer. So request.body. So a lot of destructuring happening here. Okay, so here we go. If answer, so if the answer exists, let's see, const poll equals awaits db.poll find by ID. If there's no poll, we're gonna send back the error. No poll found. And then we're gonna cast our vote. So vote equals poll.options.map. Okay, here we go. Options. Oh no. Option. Option.option. I'm actually gonna. Originally, I put it all in one line, and I know that's gonna be a little tough to follow. So instead, we're just gonna do a normal if-else. So if option.option is equal to the answer, then we're gonna return, option equals option.option ID, underscore ID, I mean, option.underscore ID. Votes is going to be options.vote votes plus 1. Else return option. Okay. Let's explain what's going on here. So, what this variable is we're gonna map through the array of options of the poll, and for each option, if it's the answer, we're gonna add 1 to the votes property, and then if it's not, we're gonna return the same option, so that this array will match the previous array with only one change. Alright. Okay. And then let's see. Oh, we have to check if the user already voted. So user.toString. Once again, we're going to compare the object ID with the actual string. So what is this? Poll.voted.filter. Then the callback function. This is the boolean here. Dot length is less than or equal to 0. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Poll.voted.push user ID. Poll.options equals vote. And then save the poll. Okay. And then else throw new error already voted. That's this else goes to this if, and then this if also needs an else. Throw new error, no answer provided. Okay, that is quite a lot. So what's happening here? So this map here, we are creating a new array that is almost identical to the poll.options array, with where we only change the actual votes. And then in this if, we're checking if the user is already voted with this filter method, and checking if the array provided by the filter is less than 0, which means that this user hasn't voted yet. And then these else's provide the correct validation for the vote. And with all of that out of the way, we can test. So I believe this poll is already deleted. So let's get all the polls. Go here, slash this, and then I believe voting is a post request. No answer provided, so that's correct. Answer, I believe answer was singular. All right, and we're gonna answer with no. Oops. Send. ID is not defined. ID is not defined. What? Why? Find by, oh, duh. Poll ID. Alright. Send. Oh, it's timing out. That's not good. What's happening? Push. Okay, so I made a really small mistake. We're never actually exiting this function. If you notice, I forgot to add the request dot status 200, 200, 202, 201. Let's do 202. JSON poll. So yeah, I didn't send anything back, so we were stuck in the server after this. So nothing was happening basically. And with that, this should work. Already voted. That is correct, because we voted with the last one. The vote went through, but we didn't get a response back. So let's vote on a different thing. If you can see here, the voted has the user ID here. So that's working perfectly. This one hasn't, I didn't vote on this yet, so let's go in this. Votes. And we're gonna send the same thing. So post the answer as no. Send. Options is not defined. What? What? What did I do wrong? Get handle vote. Options is not defined. Options. Oh. A lot of errors. Alright, well, the debugging process, it happens. Pretty sure I already voted on that, so we also gotta get a new poll. So let's go with this one. They're all the same poll, so whatever. gets post up. There we go. That finally worked. Okay. Do we need to populate this? No, that field just tells us which users wrote. Okay. So with that, we are finally finished with the polls. So let's recap. We have show everything as the show polls. This one shows the user's polls. This handler creates the poll with the middleware, and this gets the specific poll. Deletes a poll. Pretty simple. And then the vote is pretty extensive, but there it is. So we are done with our backend. Let's just add some finishing touches because I mentioned that I don't actually like how just this should be message. That's all. That's all it is. Alright. So we're done with the server. Finally. So git status, git add everything, and commit. Finished pull routes. Alright, so in the next video we're going to finally start on our client. Okay.